The head of the SEC, Paul Atkins, just said something amazing on national TV about the crypto market and how institutions are coming in to tokenize everything. He also talked about how long he thinks it will take. This video clip, boom, brains everywhere, blew my mind. I need to show it to you. We also have a lot of other news and information about XRP and the market. In this movie, I'll keep you up to date. Let's watch this video. Leaving. Are the big banks and brokers going more and more toward tokenization right now? Of course. And that's how the world will be. I don't mean in 10 years, maybe not even in a couple of years. Okay, one more time. Okay, if you're not as excited as I am, it means you might not fully understand what he's saying. First, let me play it again, then I'll tell you why I'm so excited. Do you think this is where banking services are going? Are the big banks and brokers going more and more toward tokenization right now? Yes, of course, and that's how the world will be in, say, a couple of years from now, not even in 10 years. It's also how the world is going. People won't even have to wait 10 years. It'll be like that in a few, like 2. He's telling us what to do and how to do it. He is telling us how long this will take. As he put it, the crypto market will likely become very popular in the next 2 years. At that point, all of this value will be tokenized and settled through blockchain. That's it. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is in charge of making sure that all of this doesn't go wrong for the federal government. They are telling us that financial institutions in the US and around the world are fully adopting crypto. It's a race right now. Which country will be able to set up its governing perimeter first and get the most out of this market? What's the reason? Because those countries will be ahead of other countries that haven't been able to update their financial systems in time to benefit from this huge wave of crypto blockchain innovation. This is why XRP will be one of the assets that financial institutions around the world use the most. Ripple has worked hard over the last 13 years to build trust and become well known, so people want to use XRP and USD for their institutional flows. I'm so excited, Paul. Let's keep getting that. I believe that all of this modernizing of markets is good. Our problem over the past few years is that, the SEC hasn't always been at the forefront of promoting new ideas, which is different from the past. It was always, a little behind the market, but for the US to stay on the cutting edge of this new technology, they need to get involved in the crypto market. Hearing the heads of the US's most important regulators say these things about the crypto market is amazing because it proves we were right. Since the beginning about where this market is going and how big it will be, man, I can't hold back the excitement. It's great to hear from important government officials that we were right the whole time. I have spent the last 5 years learning all of this stuff. I don't know what it is. I thought it was going to end here. I think this is what was going on. And seeing those things happen, maybe not in the order I had hoped, but man, it's a great feeling. It makes me happy. Do you feel excited when you hear that? It doesn't matter if you've been in the market for a while or are just starting to learn. Today, price doesn't matter. Think about how much it will cost in a year or two. I know you want to think like a meme coin and buy something with the goal of getting rich the next day, but that's not how things work in the real world. It takes time for things to change and catch on. If you wait that long, you will miss one of the most important changes and innovations in the history of our banking system. End of sentence. Okay, Paul Barron was wrong. We will have $1 billion worth of XRP and ETFs by December 15th. It looks like 844.99 million has been put into spot ETFs so far. In order to find out more, there were about 339 to 340 million XRP and assets under control as of late November 2025. A study from November 30th showed that the US held about 318 million XRP, which is worth between 650 and 775 million USD. As you can see, we've already made another 100 million in just a few days. That sounds pretty juicy. The public OTC data is much less clear because ETF issuers and market makers don't say how much of their XRP they get from exchanges and how much they get from OTC partners. A widely read institutional remark said that 800 million XRP had already been taken from the OTC and dark pool XRP supply in the first week after the initial spot. Do you know who that is? You already know who the expert is, so don't tell me. Anyway, we can't show that 800 million XRP was taken in because that much XRP is worth $1.6 billion. We can only show you what we know and what we can prove. This is not the hard part. And we had a live stream yesterday. At its busiest, 7,000 people were watching, and we talked a lot about XRP, the market, and ETFs. It's these different over-the-counter OTC desks that are giving me trouble. A good deal of this XRP is being bought here right now. The price on the open market hasn't changed because they're getting it privately. From now on, there should only be 1.2 billion to 2 billion XRP on these OTC desks. It's hard to get a rough idea because they don't say how much XRP or other cryptocurrencies they have. It's a secret, and there are a lot of different OTC desks. There are OTC desks that aren't connected to crypto platforms, and OTC desks that are. At this point, there could be hundreds of OTC desks. There is no way to know which one each person has, and you'd have to have a phone line at every OTC desk all day to get information. But once we burn through and buy up all of that over-the-counter OTC XRP, they will only be able to get XRP from Ripple escrow, on-demand liquidity from Ripple itself, or the markets. That's what we want. The price goes from $2 to a lot more when they buy it off the markets. Let them do that. Okay, in 2 weeks, we'll have close to $1 billion in assets under control. Did you get any XRP for less than $2 right now? I told you I bought things for less than $2. Have you? I hope so. We're at 23 million XRP ETF volume shares with 4 hours to go. We'll get over $40 million. Let's get close to 50 million again. It's now December 2nd. This video is likely to come out on December 3rd, early in the morning. Just making a lot of stuff right now. It's our goal to tell you everything. There are too many things going on. I really want to cover it. I hope you guys are having fun, learning, and getting something out of it. That's the most important thing to me. And it's really great to be on this journey with you all. I need to say something. Bitcoin, Link, Litecoin, Solana, XLM, and XRP are some of the crypto ETFs that Canary Capital filed an S1 for. They are all made in the United States. Additionally, the S1 language describes the fund's goal to hold digital assets directly, not swaps, which is how a spot crypto ETF is set up. There are going to be a lot of these items that come along and are likely to be the top 5 or 10 best tokens. Products that reflect the best AI tokens and real-world assets are likely to show up. And they'll put out these different batches to see which ones people like best. It's clear that the Vanguard nudes was great. Being able to sell these ETFs to 50 million new customers. You have Franklin Templeton, Canary, Rex Osprey, and XRPI here. A lot of cool things are going on. Then Hunter Horsley says, big news. As of January 1st, Bank of America, a private bank and wealth management firm with $2 trillion in assets, said that its advisors will be able to put between 1% and 4% of their clients' money into Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's begun. What's cool is that you're probably asking, Sensei, why not XRP? I get it. You need to begin somewhere. It's Bitcoin right now. This is where these groups are looking. But this is a good start, as now all of these financial experts will call their clients and tell them it's time to get in, time to leave. Move along now. Okay. And if that person is young, they might give 5 or 10% of their net worth. Okay. This is where the big institutional money starts to come in, and it's getting really exciting, okay? BlackRock is likely to announce some other goods here soon, as you might expect in order to stay ahead of the market. But here is some more information. This move mostly speeds up the adoption of Bitcoin by institutions, but it also makes the case for regulated digital assets in general stronger in the long run, which can help XRP and other majors in the long run. In the short term, it's likely to make Bitcoin more popular, and once advisors and clients get used to it, the story gravity will spread to some altcoins. Bitcoin could be the first choice. People who use Bitcoin might ask, what else do you have? If it does well. What does Ethereum mean? What does Solana mean? What does XRP mean? That's when we'll call those people in. Wealth managers at Bank of America, Merrill Lynch Private Bank, and Merrill Edge will be able to suggest that clients invest 1% to 4% of their portfolio in cryptocurrency. This will be done through 4 Bitcoin ETFs: Bitwise, Fidelity, Grayscale, and BlackRock. This means that starting January 5th, 2026, about 15,000 advisors with more than $2 trillion in total wealth will be able to put money into Bitcoin ETFs. The advice comes in the form of a simple, high-volatility innovation sleeve that focuses on regulated vehicles and risk education instead of betting on speculation. That way of phrasing is important. This means that Bitcoin and other large-cap cryptocurrencies are now part of standard asset allocation decisions, rather than just being an off-platform side bet. Okay. Some other things here. One day, I bought 18 million XRP. Chad is showing another person what he thinks might happen here. What would happen if the price and usage stayed the same? In a year, you might see 1 billion to 4.3 billion XRP. Don't forget that there are only a few billion XRP left on the market. There is no other XRP after going through the OTC desk. It is only on platforms, in Ripple escrow, or in Ripple